Beyonce knew just what kind of array of pans and glass vases I've used to create a makeshift tripod for my poor camera, he would probably kick me out the house. Greetings one and all, and welcome to this, my long overdue vlog about my brief but magical stay in Japan in September of 2018. My name is Lana and I will be your tour guide through the streets of Tokyo today. To read about this rather than see my face popping through clips of the beautiful Tokyo and Japan in general every so often to talk in my not very eloquent manner on camera, then I also have a blog called Definitely Not a Witch's Blog. It's at lanashi.blogspot.com or lanashidhe.blogspot.com, where I'll be uploading bit by bit my entire stay in Japan. I would love to also see you there because I love to take photography as I go on my trips. After our Flight 8 tower overlay in Doha, Qatar, which you can also see a video on my channel, or you could alternatively read a blog about and see photos of on my blog, it was time to finally visit the country that I've been dreaming of seeing ever since I was a teeny tiny little thing, ever since I watched Samurai Jack for the first time on Cartoon Network, ever since I learned what a geisha was, all that kind of stuff. The land of the rising sun, Japan, was ours to take by storm. Literally. Just as we were landing on Japanese soil, the plane began to shake and we attributed this to turbulence, but it was not. It was the Typhoon Jebi which had hit Japan quite recently, and it has actually been the worst storm to hit the country for quite a few years now, unfortunately. Before we'd even got to our train stop, however, we had to stop by the JR Pass Bureau, where we would pick up our JR passes which would allow us to travel using the railways around the country later on. If you're going to Japan and you are going to be traveling outside of 1 or 2 cities, then I highly recommend that you get your JR passes. They are available for tourists to order online prior to landing in the country, and they saved us so much time and so much effort and money in the long run, and they just made the entire trip so much easier to go through and much more enjoyable. Up until now, I'd never imagined that a city as large, as industrious, as advanced as Tokyo could be so welcoming and so spacious. Navigating the Tokyo trains, we made our way to the Low City, or Shitamachi, known as Asakusa. Leading up to the temple was the Nakamisu shopping street. If I'm butchering the name again, I'm very sorry. But it was bustling with life, bustling with colour. It was full of beautiful ladies and gentlemen adorning the gorgeous traditional Japanese wear known as a yukata. Temple and the intricacy of its inside, we wandered off to find food through the Nakamisu shopping street. On doing so, we ended up in front of one of the owl cafes, which Japan is infamously known for, and which do not boast the best reputation when it comes to the ethical treatment of animals. We had been debating whether we should go in to one of these cafes or not prior to visiting, but when we saw one right in front of us, we had to use our very expensive mobile data to Google it and see whether they treat animals the right way. What we found out from our exchange with the shopkeepers and the caretakers of the owls was that the birds were actually abandoned animals after their previous owl cafes had shut down, after their previous pet owners had abandoned them, and these birds were actually not capable of surviving on their own in the wild. Therefore, the owl cafe served mostly as a means to give these birds a home, give them food, give them shelter and security, and to create the financial means to maintain their well-being. So after hearing that, of course, we went in. You can read about the treatment of the animals inside on my blog post. The rest of our 3-day stay in Tokyo particularly was spent pretty much aimlessly wandering about a city that you could probably spend a lifetime exploring and never really see everything inside. I got to go to an arcade for the first time in my life. I got to fail spectacularly at playing Street Fighter. This video would not be complete without me showing you videos of our trip to the Team Lab Borderless exhibition in Tokyo. I always really struggle with describing what exactly the Borderless exhibition entails because it's a combination of a few things. It's visual stimuli, it's sensory stimuli, it's auditory stimuli. Its goal is to reunite us with our sense of a 3D world as opposed to seeing it through a two-dimensional screen. It's interactive. All of the exhibits will react to your touch. No two images of these exhibitions will ever be the same. They are computer-generated imagery designed to react to their environment and to be constantly ever-changing. For now, I will leave you of these videos as a beautiful and perfect illustration of how Tokyo, as possibly the most technologically advanced city in the entire world, has managed to achieve this level of industrialization and technological advancement without necessarily sacrificing its connection to nature. It somehow manages to combine these two concepts, which we often view as juxtapositions, and create through them a beautiful blossoming city, culture and society. And it fully voids any idea that the two necessarily and inherently need to be opposites. Really, nature and industrialization are fully capable of peacefully coexisting and nurturing each other, and how we handle these concepts is entirely and fully up to us. Thank you for joining me on the first vlog of this series. I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time or in my blog. Bye!